Thank you, Madam Speaker, members of the House. No matter how long you stay here, few will remember most of the votes that we put up there or the issues that we worked on. But on rare occasions, you will be called to vote on a defining issue, an issue bigger than you, bigger than me. I submit to you that this is such an issue. It will be a vote that will touch the lives of many Georgians. These are our neighbors, our friends, our family members. These are Georgians who are hurting because the mental health care system has failed them, and hopelessness is winning the battle for their future. In a few minutes, you will have the opportunity to cast one of those votes. House Bill 1013 will make our great state a good state. It will lift up families and let them know that we haven't forgotten them. Before I say a few words about the bill, I want to give some credit where it is due. The path to today is at least 3 years long. Those who contributed to the effort are really too numerous to name, but I must mention a few. When we started this journey, I laid out some principles which I believed had to guide our work. Any reform bill had to be big and bold. Couldn't just put a Band-Aid on a big problem. It had to look at new ideas because it was evident to all, or most all, that doing what we had been doing was failing our citizens. And it had to be bipartisan. I asked two of the finest members of this House to co-sponsor this measure. Chairman Todd Jones and Chairman Mary Margaret Oliver brought passion, intellect, and knowledge of this issue that could not be rivaled, and to both of them my forever gratitude. Chairman Sharon Cooper convened her committee for many hours to hear testimony, ask questions, and consider suggestions to make the bill better. I am convinced that no one has a bigger heart for those experiencing problems with the healthcare system than does Chairman Cooper. She's a great leader and an even greater advocate. 2 years ago, we created the Georgia Behavioral Health Reform and Innovation Commission. It was the commission's recommendations which formed the basis of House Bill 1013. And I want to thank the two House appointees, Chairman Mary Margaret Oliver and Chairman Don Hogan, for their amazing work. But I have to say a special word about the chairman of that commission, a former member of this body, former state representative, Kevin Tanner. A huge reason we stand here today is the result of Representative Tanner's passion, his persistence, and his attention to every detail. No one believed in this mission more than Kevin Tanner. And on a personal level, it was his encouragement which helped convince me to get involved. But not just to get involved, but to believe. Like many of you, and like many, many Georgians, I had grown frustrated and disillusioned years ago with our mental health care system. But I believed that to fix it the right way was just too hard and would be just awfully lonely work. Kevin Tanner helped me see that this could be done and that nothing was more important to do. And I am so honored and happy that he is here with us today. I want to thank Governor Kemp and Commissioner King for their early support and their continuing work with us. They have both been champions for this reform effort. House Bill 1013 is built on a number of realities. First among these is the fact that mental health touches almost every family in Georgia. It is also built on a recognition that it is draining productivity from our economy, that our law enforcement professionals and resources are being overwhelmed by this crisis. And last and certainly not least, that at an increasing rate, we are losing the battle for the future to hopelessness and despair. Chairman Jones and Chairman Oliver have done a great job discussing the provisions of the bill with you, and there is no need for me to plow that ground again. This is an ambitious bill. Its basic message is that the number one state in the nation in which to do business should find it completely unacceptable to have a mental health care system ranked at the bottom. In addition to the legislative piece that you have before you today, you will have before you in the coming days a proposed fiscal year 23 budget. In that budget and in the amended budget we've already approved in this House, $29 million is proposed to fund the provisions of this bill. That would be on top of $58 million in new dollars for mental health approved in last year's budget. House Bill 1013 and the budget items demonstrate our commitment to raising the standard of our system to a level worthy of a big, growing, dynamic, diverse, and forward-looking state. And above all else, this bill will give Georgia's families hope. If you approve this bill, it will go over to the Senate. You know, before long, we will engage in our annual late session give and take of trade-offs and deal making with our colleagues across the hall. And I want to talk to them for just a moment. The give and take process is healthy. I enjoy it as well as anybody. And while every measure is on the table, I hope they will appreciate that much is at stake with House Bill 1013. Lives are at stake with this bill. And I hope they will think twice before nitpicking or trying to take apart the work that has been done by this commission. When we started this process, some people asked why I would put myself in the crosshairs and get shot at yet again over something. Why would I spend the political capital? Well, let me tell you why. Because if this is not worth the political capital, I'm not sure what will ever be. Earlier, when I recognized those who made special contributions to this initiative, I intentionally left one out. A person with a heart full of goodness and empathy, she goes looking for people to help. But her heart has for years wrestled with her frustrations with this system. A lady with political radar, way better than any consultant I know, but one who has reached the limits of her patience with our mental health care system. And a lady that challenges me. I mean, she asks questions that are just hard to answer. Like, why don't y'all do something important without worrying about the next election? I can't answer that question. She says, why don't you tell some of the people I talk to, the crisis center and the places that she volunteers, that for a season You had the opportunity to make this system better, and you failed to act. I'm, of course, talking about Cherie Ralston, the most amazing person I know, and one whose love I am blessed to have. Late last year, Cherie and I got to know a lady, we will call her Cynthia. Cynthia lives in the mountains of Fannin County. And she came in one day, as long as in December, a plain, honest lady, had an incredible work ethic, just spent her time living life, because life has been hard for Cynthia. Last March, 1 year ago, she and her husband lost their 15-year-old son to a self-inflicted gunshot wound. What Cynthia did not know in the period after that was that her husband was having a much tougher time, an insurmountable time, accepting what had happened to the son. In late October, he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. She's paid a price. Now, when she came to see me, she had little idea about what it is we do here, and no idea about this reform effort, but she does now. She's watching us today to see what we do with this season of opportunity. At the end of the day, this is not about political party. It's not about geography, income level, race, gender, or all the things that supposedly divide us. This is about our regard for what most of us have been taught all our lives, and what is foundational to most of us and our view of our place as it relates to our fellow man. Words are found in the 25th chapter of Matthew, verses 35 through 40. For I was hungry, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. Those are the words of Jesus Christ, who went on a very few verses later to say, inasmuch, I see some of you finishing that, as you have done it unto the least of these, my brethren, you have done it unto me. Today let us listen to the voices which call out, and let us touch the hurt and pain of Georgians and try to make a difference. I ask for your favorable vote on House Bill 1013, Madam Chair, and I yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bill. The yeas were 169. The nays were 3. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed.